All right. Well, I guess we'll get started. It's a little bit after 9. We have Amy here to take minutes. So we will do a roll call to see who all is present. I'm very happy to see everybody in the room again. It's probably been, about a year and a half since we've all got to see everybody's smiling faces. So I'm glad we're all back together and we get back to normal. So I'll start the roll call and go around to my this way, right? I'm Manette Lutz from Toledo.
Frank Bergassa, Cincinnati. Ethan Gregory, Ohio Attorney General's Office.
Kathy Diacogiorgio, spouse.
John Diacogiorgio.
Scott Allen, Zanesville.
Jim Davis, Columbus.
Christy Howe, Program Manager.
Sally Nunes, Area Manager.
Amy Sager, Recording Manager.
Okay. Thanks everyone for coming. All right. The minutes from the last meeting. Did everybody get them and read them? And is there a?
I move to accept them.
Second? Okay. Any discussion? All right. All in favor? Anyone opposed? All right. The motions from the meeting, any discussion on those? Okay. Public comment. I did not receive any public comment request. So does anyone have a public comment? Okay. So then we move on to elections. This is the July meeting. We have to conduct elections for chair and vice chair of the committee. I'll start opening nominations up here just for a minute for chair. It's for a 1-year term. And I'll make an announcement to open up nominations. We'll see who accepts. And I'll ask 3 times for nominations. Then we'll close and hold an election or vote by acclamation. So for chair for the OVRC, are there any nominations?
Are you allowed to vote for yourself? Not that I plan to.
Yes, you're allowed to vote or nominate yourself. Yes.
That's all I asked. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I'm gonna nominate Annette for chair.
Okay, I accept the nomination. Are there any other nominations for chair?
Sorry.
Are there any other nominations for chair? Okay, then the voting closes and it sounds like you guys are stuck with me for another year. I appreciate it. I will say it's not easy, but I appreciate the opportunity to continue the serving, and I'm always open for feedback. I did receive some feedback that somebody thought the communication should be a little bit better, and I will take that to heart and do the best I can to fix that and continue to serve the committee. Okay, so for vice chair, are there any nominations for vice chair?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Frank Bergassa.
Frank, do you accept?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for vice chair?
I'd nominate Jeremy Park.
Derek has to be on the committee, so.
Okay, I thought he was.
No. So unfortunately, yeah. And I was gonna say, John, Jim, I'm sorry, you can't nominate anyway. I apologize, but so are there any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations for vice chair? Then Frank, welcome. Glad to have you back.
Keep her on her toes.
Yeah, beat me up. You know, Frank and I've worked very well together several times in the past, so it'll be good. Do you have anything to say, or you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you, and thank Scott and the rest of you for your vote of confidence. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to thank a few folks. I want to thank Tom Neal for serving as vice chair for the last year. He did a very good job, and we appreciate that. I want to appreciate that since we're starting a new term, I want to extend appreciation and thanks to the people who served on the last one and have left us. Jim Deebus is here in the room. I appreciate his serving, and Keith Trammell in the Dayton area, John Canady in the Zanesville area, and Doug Brusso in the Columbus area. All of those folks left the committee, and we appreciate their service. Okay, so now we got to set the meeting schedule for the next year. Christy's already done a little bit with that, just kind of tentatively trying to get a room for us and everything. So do you have a calendar, Christy, or?
Yes.
Okay. And we can kind of go through the dates for the next year. We usually do the third Friday of the month, unless there's some circumstances not to. Yes, Scott.
I've had a request that from the Akron-Canton area that maybe we explore the idea of doing alternate days other than, Friday, but the possibility of other days is what they were requesting, just because canal operators, generally work on Fridays to prepare for the weekend. So I don't know if we could discuss that, if that's a possibility.
Absolutely. We can discuss anything. If there's what I'm indifferent. I'm kind of used to the Friday thing. But I'm good with other days a week. I'll work my schedule around it, but I know some other folks have more difficulty doing that. So anyone have any thoughts, or?
I have no opinion on that.
Should we think about the possibility of a rotation, or I don't know. I only received the request for the possibility of other than Fridays, at least exploration of it.
Yeah. I wish we could explore it and kind of thought about it a little bit ahead of time. By rule, we are required to set the schedule at this meeting. So I don't know if we should jump in and make a big change maybe for the next year, but maybe it's something we need to, we could think about and talk about a little bit more. I don't care either way. If people, like I said, I'll be here whatever day everyone thinks we should be. But
Well, Madam Chair?
Yeah.
I would think that, I guess we can work around the schedule. I was going to say for any possible holidays on a Monday, so maybe we could exclude Mondays, but we don't have to do that even, because we can look at the calendar, obviously. What about the possibility of just each month doing a different day of the week? Doing a rotation like that?
yeah, I'm not sure that I like that. I'll be honest with you, because it makes it confusing for some of our people that might want to attend. They kind of, I don't want it to be, I know notice would come out, but I don't know. Like I said, we did it on a different, I don't know that I like constantly changing it. I think it's good to keep it fairly consistent, even if it's not on a Friday. I don't know that I like the idea of the second Wednesday this month and the third Thursday next month. And anyone else have thoughts?
If we're gonna do it, it should only be one other day, shouldn't be like, what does the girl think?
We don't have an opinion. We don't care. I do know that we have to, just so I could guarantee space, I have reserved this room for the third Friday through the end of the year. That doesn't mean we can't change it. And my plan is whatever we decide today, on Monday, I'll get a hold of Jennifer Wilson to, update it if it changes, or definitely secure space January through next July. Before the pandemic, space was premium here. there. Like, it wasn't a guarantee. And
Right, right.
remember also that, for this floor particularly, we were flip-flopping different rooms depending on, and I thought that was confusing. I'd like to have one standard room that we reserve.
Yeah, and right now, I assume at some point it's going to open back up, but right now, as people come back, the 31st floor, which I know we don't use, but other people would, which would make things a little tighter, has been closed. They're not holding things up there in this building at the moment. Now, that'll probably open back up.
The 31st floor can no longer be used for public meetings, period.
Oh, okay. I knew there was some closure for that, but, yeah. So rooms will become at more of a premium. So I suggest, unless we have a solid idea of a particular other day, other than Friday, that we leave it like this for now and then maybe explore it a little bit more, before next year. Anyone have any?
I agree.
Okay. All right. So calendar out. I think what we got August. I don't know.
August 20th is the third Friday.
Okay. So we'll just read them off and see if anyone has any concerns with any of those dates.
Okay. September 17th.
That's it.
No.
October 15th.
Yeah, the one in October is the statewide.
And I didn't even reserve the October one. I just said I did the July, August, September, November 19th, and I don't know where does that fall with the holidays, and
I think that one's good.
Thanksgiving isn't until the following Thursday.
Yeah, I think the 19th of November is good.
and then December 17th. And I know that, often we try to cancel that one, but just to have it on the book.
Yeah, we'll keep it on the book so that it's a regular meeting. But you're right, we'll more than likely cancel it. Yeah, October, we probably won't hold a meeting here. That statewide that same weekend, and if we have any pertinent business, we can tend to it at the Saturday morning statewide.
Well,
Yeah,
Chris
Frank?
said she didn't reserve one here for October.
right,
I did
Oh.
not.
Okay, I understand why.
yeah.
Everything I was sitting here thinking was, and I think we would be able to handle it statewide in case there was something so major that,
Yeah, we meet with the Saturday morning part of statewide's an official OVRC
Right.
meeting, so we can
Yeah.
do whatever business we need to do there. So, all right, January.
January 21st is the third Friday.
That probably doesn't run into any holidays.
No,
does it?
Martin Luther King Day is that Monday.
Okay, good. In February, this is where it always gets fun.
February is the 18th.
And I bet that 21st then's President's Day, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay,
Let's
so,
avoid that one.
yeah, let's do,
we could do the 11th or the 25th.
I
we
don't,
done it that late in February.
yeah,
You got a lot.
let's do, anyone have a preference for the 11th or the 25th of February? Let's do the 11th. And then March,
March would be March 18th.
that's probably good. Okay,
And then April would be the 15th.
When's Easter?
Easter is the 17th.
Yeah, we don't like that.
And the 15th is tax day, so I don't know if we have last minute filers. I'm sure we do.
Yeah,
So we could do either the 8th or the 22nd.
I guess the 8th, since we went early before, so.
Okay.
And then
And then
May?
May would be 20th.
Sounds good.
And then June would be the 17th.
Now, that may be a holiday weekend now, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we can do the 10th or the 24th.
Yeah, let's do the 10th, I guess.
Okay.
Good call on that.
Yeah.
I do too.
'Cause I bet the state will do it Monday.
Yeah.
But it'd still be a long weekend, and we never like that, so. All right. And we did July, did we? We gotta do July
No,
too.
we did not.
Yeah, we gotta do July.
So July 15th would be the third Friday.
Okay. Sounds good.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Scott.
those dates emailed out to, can we email those out to everyone in chat today?
Yeah, they will.
What we'll do is we'll update the OVRC list of who the chair, the vice chair, all of the members, and we'll send out the dates at the same time.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we can talk about a little bit of our work groups, what we have established. I know we have our program growth work group that's established. Frank, you want to continue
Yes.
with that? Okay. We have a work group that's been looking at budgetary, like setting up our budget list and looking at the budget. Tom was doing that. I'm hoping Tom will continue to do that. If not, okay. So hope.
I'm working on it anyways.
Okay. Yeah, that one will continue. Statewide, Scott, that's been yours.
Sorry. Sure, I can continue.
Okay.
Now we need to, I know they're working on a current statewide, we need to start working on one for probably May of next year too, correct?
Yeah, same group will
Oh, okay.
can look at that too. All right.
They were-
Fit break. Everyone get up and dance.
My phone's been doing that for some reason.
We need one too for looking at the secondary rest areas. That's one we kind of thought about doing. John, you don't have any yet. You want to do? You're not a rest stop person, but
Yeah, I was kind of concerned because I'm not, but
I would definitely ask folks to be on there with you and who
that's fine.
know them and stuff. But you don't have any yet, so.
Okay.
And are there any others that we believe we need?
And I don't know if we want to do this. I was thinking, and I don't know if Tom would do it. And this is only a suggestion, doesn't mean we have to do it. I would like to have a group that takes a look at like, maintenance and repair, kind of like Schaefer, and just see if there's anything we can do, Schaefer can do, if anything we can do as a program, without throwing operators under the bus, but try and find some ways to dial this maintenance and repair down a little bit. And some of it's not all on the operator. A lot of it isn't. There's a lot of crazy stuff, and I know but I don't know if anybody thinks that would be productive or if it would be a waste of time, but just an idea.
I like it. Schaefer's definitely, we're on the agenda for later, and we're going to have a little talk about Schaefer. I know Tom has done some work with trying to monitor the cost and stuff, so I don't know if Tom's listening in and would be able to unmute himself, but he may or may not be, but I'm going to ask him if he'll share that one. If he won't, then I may come back to somebody else, but we'll see if he can continue that work, and he's pretty good at monitoring Schaefer. And Tom also has the added bonus of knowing a lot about maintenance and repair to boot. So, okay, any others? All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can we, Frank, can I have this up? We're trying to.
OVRC.
No, I'm joking.
It's still going in that we can hear everything clearly.
Okay, you can hear very clear. Thanks, Tom.
Yep, I've been texting members of the committee because I don't want to participate via telephone.
Oh, okay. No. Did you hear about those couple of work groups?
I did and I will. I texted
Okay.
Frank and I texted Scott.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. University update. That form that you sent, Christy, or I don't know, remember who sent it. That was great. I actually liked that. That was a very helpful, very nice thing. It spelled out all the universities where we are and aren't. So thank you for putting that together. That was real good, and it gives us some focus of where to kind of exert our our priorities with that and everything. Did anyone have any thoughts or?
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
the one thing I thought, and it was a good list. Two things. Someone suggested to me that I guess, and I think it's in the Dayton area, Sinclair Community College be added to that list. And then the other thing is, and I'll use University of Cincinnati for an example, is I wonder if there's a way to put, and some of the stuff did have information, but like with UC, I didn't see, that there was some things in progress. And I know they've been working on that and trying to do some meetings with them and stuff, and I don't know where all that stands, and I know they can't put a whole report in there, but they could notate, just slightly where to insert that. I think there is, but I'll ask them a question and kind of leave it there.
So Madam Chair,
Yes.
I can tell you specifically with UC, we are trying to get a meeting together. I'm holding that until we can fill the machines that they've been asking us to fill. We have a huge problem down there right now and now we're transitioning. We've canceled a temp agreement this week, and we've got another operator going in on Tuesday, and we've also put the operator for his permanent facility. He's got until Tuesday to fill 2 machines that they've been asking about. And I'll be honest, I don't want to have a meeting with them right now when the first thing out of their mouths are going to be like, we can't fill the machines we've been asking you to fill, first starting in February, but mostly the last month or two. And they gave us, they had some events coming up and
New student orientation.
Yeah, that were scheduled for July 12th. And so we thought that the operator would get the stuff in by July 12th, but that did not happen. So once the machines are filled, and it's not all of them, they were asking for 12 machines, then I will circle around with them and meet with them again about the POP.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Scott.
So what was the situation? Did the operator feel that the population was too low to justify full machines?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
the operator refuses to communicate with the Bureau at all, does not return any calls, emails, texts, nothing.
Yes, Scott. Or John, I'm sorry.
Are we doing any more better on that? Or?
Madam Chair, the operator was put on notice that they need to have their 2 machines for their permanent facility filled by the 19th. Otherwise, we will look at alternative actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got something in the mind though, and like Christy said, to go back to Frank's original question, as soon as this is taken care of, we can move forward. Where are we? I'm sorry, Frank, were you?
That's fine.
Okay.
But I was just going to say, just like with other places where they're working on stuff, to have that information on that college recap list would be a good thing, and some of it's there. At least I think it is. I don't know how the rest of the committee thinks, and I'm willing to listen if somebody thinks that's a bad idea. That's fine too.
No, it's good. Where are we? I know we were talking some with Akron. I know their thing is due up here soon, if I remember correct.
Yeah, so Akron is up actually next spring, I believe.
June 2020.
Yeah.
So, but we still had a conversation and we still followed up with them and said, we can take over this fall. And we've not heard back from them. So, but then it's next year then, 2022. I think they're up next year.
Tri-State East.
Mm-hmm.
We've all discussed. There was another one.
OU.
The other half of OU.
That's right. We did talk about that one.
And again, if we can go into all three of those next year, I think that's a good list.
It is. Yeah. Tri-C, we are going in there. That's a done deal, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And we were in at CSU. That went really well. Tell them about the refund thing that we're doing.
So, we usually have our refund stickers on machines.
Mm-hmm.
How to get your refund. We worked with State Printing and had them print up some really nice refund stickers that have the QR code, so students can just scan that with their phone, and it'll help route the refund to the right person. So any students or staff can scan that, and then if it's a yes, there's a phone number to call or a room to go to.
Okay, never mind. Okay. I was making sure that wasn't one of our people. Okay, sorry.
Sure.
Yes.
Just want to let you know that Facebook is streaming now.
Okay, great. That's awesome. All right, anything else on universities?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, great.
We do have a problem at UC, a continuing problem with these par-level card readers. I know last I talked to Sally, I think in May, and then in June, they were, I think Bill or somebody was going to try, or they were going to loan Bill or one of the consultants high-powered antenna to try, and I wanted to get a status update on that and see if that ever happened. The other question I have is, I believe, and I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong, but I believe by contract, UC is the one supposed to be getting these things up and running or making sure they're operational.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Sally can address most of it. They're having problems with their own machines. And it's that one new building that was built like Fort Knox. So it's not just their own machines are having problems taking it. So.
So the grantor said he's been trying to locate the high-powered antenna so that they could test it. And then he found out, and this was June 28th, he said he found out last week that they never got it. They were excited about it with them before purchasing it. It says, I don't know what that means. Discovered it was a proprietary for USA Tech only.
Oh.
Well, that don't work.
No. So,
Gotta find a solution down there though, because, we want, I guess the only way I know to say it, and I do want people to have stuff in machines, but they also have to be able to make money from it. And in universities, that's the primary source of income.
Is there another, I know they do it through their student card, but is it able to use a different credit card provider for those machines? I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yes, so the readers do take the student card as well as regular credit and debit cards. The problem is getting the signal in certain buildings. So they're just not working at all.
Yeah, but we can't use like USA or they wouldn't get signals either though. Or Vendovation or, I know some places we've been lucky to get signals from one and not from the other. I don't know. And I don't have any clue if those operators would even be interested in that. I don't know. I just throwing stuff out there.
I have an idea, Sally, but it would probably require UC to give us permission to do it, and I bet they wouldn't. But one operator I talked to suggested that I guess there with Par Level, there are two different models. There's one model that runs, I guess one model runs on AT&T, and I think that's the one we have because UC felt, or somebody felt that was the one with the best signal down there. But they do have a model also that will run on apparently AT&T or Verizon. And I know why it went that way because, it's state purchasing and, you're stuck buying the lowest, so, but I don't know if that's something we could experiment and try and get a couple of, and I don't know what the cost is to see if that would solve this problem if Verizon, from the people I've talked to down there, Verizon, people have cell phones, so the Verizon signal seems to be a lot better. So I don't know if that would address that issue or not. It's just an idea, but it also is going to require some cooperation from UC as well.
So Sally right now is.
I'm making a note to myself to follow up with UC and Power Level next week to see if they think that might help.
So I think we need to determine too that, is it the card reader or is it again, the building and the way that it was built that it interferes with any type of card reader? I think that does need to be explored.
Well, wasn't there card readers on it before we switched to Par Level?
New building, this building.
Okay.
This building is
Okay.
it's a new building.
It's more than one building though, Christy. Yeah, there is one that's a major, which is, yeah, that's a major one, but there's problems at all of it. Even 408 has some stuff down. I just know that the original permanent operator there said, well, I think it was like 3 or 4 card readers. They were low volume machines, so he really wasn't he was just glad that the main stuff was working.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just trying to see if we can find a solution to this. And I know you guys will agree. This has went on since October, November of 2019, and I'm like, yeah, we got to try to figure. And I know people have been working on it, so that's what we'll try and do for now, I guess. But
Okay. Anything else with universities? All right.
could we?
Oh, I'm sorry.
One other question, Madam Chair. I'm sorry.
No problem.
We haven't heard anything about the 3-panel hearing yet, right? I think Christy had said August. We probably wouldn't hear nothing before August anyway, but I just,
Correct.
okay.
It'll probably be I think August 10th.
Ooh.
Okay. Statewide. Yeah.
Madam Chair. Statewide. I've got it here.
I know you're here kind of for Cynthia today.
I am. So she's worked on a contract. She's worked on and 2 options for the contract. So it is the Sheridan. We have talked, I forgot the one piece and I did not bring my computer today, so
You work at home for a year and you forget to bring things. I don't know.
about doing a lunch, a box lunch. Everyone could stay in the room, maybe we could get a speaker, and I'll tell you, supplying lunches for state conferences, that has, I've been a state employee for 25 years. That's ebb and flowed on whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. But recently, and there's a DAS OBM directive that with the right conditions, and you do have to get permission even from the director, that it is permissible. It is permissible.
Okay.
We have to stay within they will not pay more than $16 for a box lunch. And most hotels, make the requirement that you go through them.
Right.
And most hotels, I think the highest was ridiculous, it was way over 20. The Sheridan said that theirs was over 16, but that they would make it 16, they would fit our budget. So that's good.
Okay.
And there was 3 choices. That's what I forgot to bring on my thing. I think it was.
Oh, that's the important part.
I know. Ham and cheese. There was 3 options. Yep, veggie wrap was one, and yep. I can pull it up here. I'll look. And
Okay.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
So, here's the bottom line. The hotel, the conference rooms, the breakout, box lunches, $16. We're going to predict 100 people. I also have to find you. Are we allowed to pay for, is it just operators and staff that we can pay for, or could we pay for a spouse, a driver? And they're like, if they are part of the conference, then yes, we can pay for them.
Good. Okay.
So the thing is that we have to, when we do registration, we're gonna have to ask people like what your preference is on those 3 items. And we can't pay for any that go unused. Does that make sense? So if like there's 20 people that sign up for the conference, they don't show up, and we can't pay for them. So that's the only thing. And so we're gonna have people sign at registration when they come in. Yep, I want the box lunch. This is what I want. And there's some logistics with that. So the overnight operators, licensee over 30 miles, we predicted about 40 operators at 288. That's 11,520. Again, the box lunch is 1,600. The conference rooms, the breakout rooms, and they're, again, it's not cheap, it's not free.
Right.
And then parking vouchers, we're making sure that we have parking vouchers. Now with those, we only have to pay for the ones that are used, which is good. But we're budgeting for 83 at $30, so that's $2,490. And then we even budgeted, even though we might not use it, we budgeted $1,500 for a speaker. So the estimated amount for statewide would be $23,474. So, I mean, that's money.
It is.
That's money. Now, I will tell you, if we go without the food, it's $22,522. We get a $500 break on the ballroom if we get the food. So really, instead of the food being $1,600, it's really $1,100.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where we are right now. I am, I'm fine with this. I mean, it's where our budget's getting a little bit better. I'm a little concerned about doing 23,000 in October and another 23 in May, but we'll have to, see what our budget looks like then.
We'll figure that out, and maybe we'll switch to falls for now. We'll figure that out as it gets closer and have the work group come up with an idea for what we want to do for May.
And again, there's a couple more hoops I have to do for the food, but I wanted to know your guys' opinion, if that's something that we should go forward with.
Madam Chair,
Yes, John.
I think we should do it for logistic reasons. One, I know it's going to be a pain to figure out, to make sure we're representing the right food, but people have a lot of problems getting lunch there sometimes because it's so slow and what have you, and end up coming back late or what have you. So I think it's a good productive idea.
I agree.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Scott.
the only request I would recommend is that if we're going to do a speaker for the lunch portion, that it be something really lighthearted, that nothing heavy, because I don't know that people are going to be able to pay as close attention, while they're eating, things like
Right.
that. And they may want to converse at lunch. So that's my thought.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
My question is the restaurant open at that hotel? Are they operational? And the other thought was if somebody didn't want to do the box lunch, if they wanted to just get out of the room for, a little while and go get something, would that be acceptable?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Scott.
there were a group of us last year that went to the restaurant at the hotel, and Cynthia had to delay the award ceremony by almost a half an hour, I think, because we could not leave the table because we hadn't even gotten our food
yet.
It was horrible.
I've done a lot with our group and with other conferences and stuff where there's been a lot of blind people. These hotels are not prepared. They try to be, they think they are not prepared because their restaurants are usually meant to service just a few people. They don't expect the whole conference of people to go there, because most people hop in their car and go, down the street here and there and everywhere. They don't stay in the hotel, where our folks typically do. It's a common problem with conferences with a lot of blind people in it. So I think it's a good idea to do the box lunch.
Oh, I wasn't disagreeing with it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask if,
No, I think, if someone wants to do another option, they don't have to eat the box lunch.
So, Madam Chair, my only concern with that is, I thought part of the point of this too was to keep everyone in the room, everyone fellowship, the staff, the operators. I think the idea too was that, and to have a lighthearted or some sort of speaker that could be lighthearted but also educational, or at the same time, that was part of the point of it. So I'd be disappointed if someone chose to not stay in the room and be a part of that.
Oh, I agree. I think it should be encouraged. I do, especially if there's a speaker and a box lunch and, this and that. But, if someone truly didn't want to stay, they would go. Yes, John.
I totally agree with both of you, but we can't force them to stay.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're gonna go if they want to go, just like we do through all of statewide. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've spent many an hour statewide out in the hallway talking because it was more interesting than what was going on inside the room. So the hope is that it's not like that what's going on in the room is more interesting than what's going on in the hallway. And so, okay. So sounds good.
So you guys want me to go forward with the lunch item?
I think so.
Okay.
It sounds,
Do you know what else included? Like, is it a sandwich, chips, and a cookie?
yeah, I want the menu. I know.
I didn't do it for $15.
I know that. I know, and like, there's, one of our operators could potentially do that, even though I don't know how we do that, but, there's also a outfit called, Freedom a la carte that I've had before, which helps, women who've been in the sex trade. That the box lunches are awesome. They're wonderful. And they're at like a $10 to a $12 price point. But unfortunately, that's how the hotels make money. They make money on the food, they make money on the AV equipment, the room rentals, and so we're strapped on doing that. There'd be 3 choices, and I'll get that out. I try to pull it up, and
Yeah, no hotels, hardly ever. Every now and then, if it's a big enough conference, they'll let you order pizza for one event or two, but most of them really want you to use their services. So, okay. Anything else with statewide that you had, Christy? Or
I don't think so. Nikki Gakos is coming.
yes.
So, he's coming, and so we're going to get on this. Cynthia, she's off next week, but when she gets back, I'm going to immediately work with her to get out, save the date, to start advertising for all the operators. We'll have a block of room. So we'll get this going and the contract.
Madam Chair?
Yes, John.
Kristen, did she resolve the contract issue?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, that's the other thing with these hotels. It's like who we were working with before, they change. I mean, they really do change.
Oh, they do all the time there.
Yeah. A lot of turnover.
Yep.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Scott.
the room rate, is that what you were saying? Is that, did I infer 144 a night? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The 288 is for 2 nights.
Okay, I didn't catch that.
And that's for folks that they will not pay for folks that live within 30 miles. That's correct, right?
Correct.
Okay. Sometimes we can schedule, but people have to pay for it themselves.
And I believe that people who choose to go down there that are within 30 are still in that, the block rooms. We have so many block rooms. So, yeah.
As I said, we can usually get the rate. I'll be honest with you, though, as a local, I've stayed a couple, sometimes I'll go home, sometimes I stay, but I've actually been able to negotiate a better rate, like if you have AAA or something like that. So I've just made my own reservation completely on my own and did a little better before. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So, yep. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions about statewide? I'm looking forward to it, so it'll be good to see everybody. Inventory. I know this is a good one, so inventory losses. So Christy, you want to?
Yes, I will start. I don't have the data in front of me, but so we've been talking about product inventory losses now for a year. And I know that, last year there was belief, well, you guys can just, bond paper, you can just erase inventory losses. And we explained that it has to be a transaction and it is an asset. We had the FRRP and that we figured all of that out and that money has gone out. So again, we were asked by OVM, they have some COVID relief money and I know that Annette knows this and some of the other operators know this. They had asked us last summer for a variety of options for COVID relief money and we put in proposals on a number of occasions and they never went anywhere. We never received any funds for the program for you guys to pass along. But this time we said, we have operators that have had losses that are program assets. And so they said, okay, well, show us what losses are at, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll see what we can do. So we've been asking operators this March, part of the FRRP and some other stuff, please document and give us your losses. So we had operators that provided losses. And again, I think that the number of total initial inventory out there was about $699,000. Some people said I didn't have losses, or I choose not to turn in losses, but some people had a percentage of their initial inventory. Some people had their entire initial inventory. We even had a couple operators that because they spent money above their initial inventory and lost it, submitted those losses as well. So at the end of the day, we had $245,000 worth of losses submitted to us by operators, plus backup documentation. We submitted that to OVM and they approved it. So they are giving us $245,295. Again, we made sure that the losses matched our spreadsheet, and man, that was challenging.
Right.
We got these, some was on the phone, some was spreadsheets, and then we had operators, which innocent mistake, did not calculate all their cells right. And even OVM took that backup documentation and questioned us on a couple of them. So they looked at every single number we submitted. So we've got the list. What we're proposing and what we need to work with is we're going to have to do new agreements, probably in August or September, to redo the agreements, the initial inventory for the operators that submitted losses. And so they will, again, it'll come off their initial inventory, but we also have some operators that submitted, again, losses greater than their initial inventory, and they will be getting a check.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming. Okay.
We didn't either. Again, I'll be honest, that was Maria Seaman. She advocated for that. She says it's losses. It's losses, and you guys have documentation for it.
Great. That's awesome.
So that's $245,295.
That's great. That's I'm really happy by that.
Very happy.
So
Very good news.
I have a question on this.
Yes,
If
John.
there's an operator who wants to be sort of
Yeah, we're here to talk to you guys today about it. We are okay with this plan. And if you guys motion that we can go forward with this plan, we will inform the operators, we'll inform them of this. we'll come together, put out a plan. Again, it's gonna take us a while to figure out the logistics of the, with the MORs, because they're gonna have to do, paper MOR. And we've got, how many of?
And ideally, that would be all in the same month, like the,
all in October or September or August or something. Yeah. That makes sense.
just so we don't have any, kind of outliers that we can
Right.
show that
You need
we had to do this because of this reason.
Yeah,
And there's 53 operators. So that's gonna be a feat.
Yeah, that's gonna be something.
And we even included the temp, like if they submitted losses, we've included.
Okay.
Now, I will
Good.
tell you, my fear is, we're gonna have some people that come out of the woodwork that says, well, I now have losses, or this was my losses. And there's a couple operators that we begged and we called and you guys even motioned that there was a drop-dead deadline to provide those losses.
I know.
And we can't go back, to go back to OBM now, I don't think, so that, I'm just telling you that people might be coming out of the woodwork saying, well, wait a minute, what about me?
Yeah, I understand.
We have March, April, May, and June to come. So,
I mean, I would hope, I'm sure OVRC reps have been in touch with people. I think consultants even made phone calls, so I don't know what else we can do. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
Usually back in March, so.
so then I'm gonna work with fiscal. That $245,000 becomes the bucket that it can't be matched, becomes the initial inventory bucket. So, I mean, yes, it becomes part of our cash balance, but we can't spend it on those 5 things. We can't match it. That becomes initial inventory going forward. Does that make sense? So it's on, like, we're reducing, we're reducing what they owe us on paper, but that becomes part of the initial inventory going forward.
Right, right.
it looks like
Well, wouldn't it be 245 because you said some operators will get checks?
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Oh.
That's correct.
Oh, but the rest of it, the majority of it will be just losses that will recoup or will recognize those losses as those operators leave the facilities over years.
Right. So that's like 200, I think it was around 218
Okay.
up to initial inventory. Now, again, I don't know, and I think we need to talk about this in August and September, again, we talked about initial inventories in general. Like, again, trying to track when people leave their facility, is this, they're going to be getting paid for VR funds that they got and forgiveness, anything over that they didn't, and I don't know how that works. We're going to have to, that's going to be a greater conversation.
Well, VR is a whole separate thing. That's that's a whole entirely separate thing. That's between the operator and VR. It really has nothing to do with BE itself.
But even this, if someone is giving like a $20,000 forgiveness and then in 2 years they leave, is the Bureau going to pay them for everything that they have? Or,
We'll have to talk about that more. My initial thought would be yes, because the Bureau's taking that inventory and, obviously, in theory, providing it to the incoming operator, who would then be paying that back at some point when they leave.
Yeah.
So that's just my initial thought. It probably takes, like you said, it will take some more talk and more discussion, but.
Madam Chair, Christie, what was the total? I know you told me. I'm sorry. There's been a bunch of numbers tossed around. The total losses on initial inventory, just the total, and then what are we getting from in federal help? I'm sorry. That's what I was trying to reconcile. And I know you told me, but
okay, so wait. Okay, what's your question, Frank? I'm confused too now.
Yeah, what are the total losses in initial, in the total losses, everybody, you know, the dollar amount for all the losses that were submitted?
For all the losses that were submitted were $245,295.04.
Okay,
And that's coming from the OVM and the COVID. That's not the FRRP, that's.
right. So now the money OBM is allocated to us to help with this. Is that the same amount?
Yes,
So this should come out even in some form of, that's what I was trying to make sure of. That's what I thought I had heard originally, but I was trying to.
yeah, there's about 5 or 6 operators that are gonna get over what their initial inventory is. Then there's some people that'll wipe out their initial inventory. There's some people where it was only, they only submitted like maybe a third of what their initial inventory was, or just a portion. I think we had someone that like literally,
Less than 100.
yeah.
Wow.
So, yes. And then I think the asset for the Bureau, instead of there being $700,000 of initial inventory outstanding out there, it goes down to, I think, around 499
Or something, yeah.
That's what I was
This
thinking.
will definitely help those that, again, to John's point, have been wanting to leave their facility, but could not because they owed a significant, debt to the Bureau.
Yeah, I think we might need a motion to,
Okay.
go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that
I'll second.
Okay.
I'm all for suggestions.
I think that's sufficient.
You got it, Amy?
I think, is move to accept the Bureau's initial inventory plan, is that what you?
As presented,
That's presented, yeah.
yes. And the minutes will reflect what that is, so. We have a second. Any more discussion? Okay, we'll call for the vote. John?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Okay. Boy, there's only 4 members here. That makes the voting, it really stinks. We don't have more people here. Yes.
So, FRRP, did I say that right, or is it? Right?
Yes, that's right.
So those checks have actually been dispersed? Is that,
FRP.
Sorry, what is it?
FRRP.
the FRRP been dispersed?
Yes.
Those are in the mail right now for operators?
They should be. The authorizations were made on July 1st, release the payments on July 2nd. And it usually takes shared services in between 5 to 7 business days to cut the check, and then they will be mailed.
Okay.
So it should be,
Any day now. Any day now.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Doug Bruzo had asked me the same question, so I looked into it and I could see that his warrant was created on the 12th, I think.
Okay.
So it should be coming out soon.
Yeah.
that would make sense with the 5 to 7 business days, yeah.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Scott.
Also, okay, with the new proposal that we have just discussed, I know with the FRRP, if an operator resigns from a facility, they weren't eligible for the FRRP. If someone has previously resigned from a facility and they have sustained inventory losses, will they still receive this compensation?
So, Madam Chair, we reached out to everyone that said inventory losses. And like, I know typically a operator in Cincinnati did provide a loss. Plus, when they transitioned out, we kind of gave them those losses then. There's a person in Toledo that we gave him like $3,500, like we forgave that loss. And any bad product and loss that they had. So I think that they were kind of compensated at that point. Does that make sense?
But if they did submit losses, that's being taken off their initial inventory.
Okay.
Okay.
That answer?
Yeah.
Some of the magic ears that are listening to our meeting, just as a point of order, just texted me and said that since we just did a vote, and since there were only 3 people that voted, that I need to vote to make it a quorum vote. So I vote yes on the last motion that we did as well, so that we have a majority of people to make it official.
That's fair. I thought you already said yes, so.
Okay.
Madam Chair, just to back up what was being said, I just got a text from Laura Kolb, said her check came today.
Oh, yay.
They're in.
Party at Laura's house this weekend.
So, Madam Chair, I want everyone to be aware of this too. So, the people that owe money that, for inventory, like if you have a $5,000 initial inventory, you submitted $5,000, you're fine. We're going to, again, redo the agreement. If you have overage of that, just like if someone were to leave their facility and have any overage that the Bureau pays for, that will be 1099, the overage portion of it.
Mm.
So I want that to be, and again, it would be like 5 people that I believe that have that. And again, it has to be over, I think, $500.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want that to be.
Okay.
I think it's 600.
Yes, Scott, you have?
Yeah, so if, that just brought up a question then. So if an operator leaves a facility and their inventory exceeds their initial, they get 1099 for that money that comes back to them? I did not realize that before.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because that's considered in.
It's an income. It's a net gain, I guess, at some point. So, okay. Anything else with the inventory? We do appreciate going after for OBM and being diligent with sending that in and getting those back. That's was great news, and
Yeah,
it's
very much appreciated.
yeah. All right, everyone comfortable? Everyone good? All right, good. We're going to talk about Schaefer. So.
We'll be here till midnight.
I think we need a break.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
Chris.
would like Sally to.
Okay.
Before, because again, I think Sally can.
Yeah, so Madam Chair,
Yes. Sally.
as I've talked with a couple operators, this seems to be kind of a cyclical problem with Schaefer, where at least probably once a year or so, we do have to have a sit down and kind of have that coming to be this meeting of, here are the service issues we're having, here, all the different issues we're having. And they usually have some for us as well.
Right.
Some feedback. So what I've asked all the consultants to do is reach out to their operators and compile a list of issues they're having, whether that's about service calls or moves or deliveries, whatever that issue is. And we are sending those, they're sending those in, and we are compiling them, and then we are going to set up, Amy, Christy, and I, a meeting with Chuck Brovke for sure. Jill Lynn usually attends that meeting also, and anyone else that they might feel, I don't know, maybe Shiloh, who's the new moves person, maybe she would be there as well. But we are going to have a sit down with them and really explain all of our issues, because I'm hearing it from numerous operators, not just a handful. It's, I think Tuesday I had probably 5 or 6 calls about Schaefer issues.
Yeah, and in the past when we've had these meetings, we've had a couple of OVRC reps at that meeting too. And I would like that to be.
Sure.
Okay. You see that being in person or just don't know?
So,
Okay. Well, we'll work that out. Who to?
and Sally, Madam Chair, Sally
Yes,
already
right.
knows this. One of the things that needs to be addressed is when Jill is off or on vacation or out with whatever issues. I know she was dealing with a family issue, a death in the family, and that's understandable. Schaefer needs to have somebody available who's able to back her up, because
Agreed.
whoever was backing her up didn't have access to do some of the things that needed to be done.
Yeah, and that's the second time I've heard that particular issue, so I agree.
Yes, John.
I specifically had that issue myself where James told me that with the new security system, he's not logged into that system anymore. And that's a major issue for us, of course.
And that's weird.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make sense when you do that.
What was that, John? I'm sorry.
So when Joe's not there, James normally takes your place.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
James does not have the ability to schedule service calls anymore because they changed their system. And so basically nothing happens when she's not there anymore.
Yeah,
She's already scheduled it.
that's right. You told me that.
Schedule.
Oh,
So
yeah.
That's a problem.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Scott.
it was brought to my attention that Schaefer has started to deny operators to be able to contact technicians to ask questions, technical support questions over the phone.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, I heard that too.
And that's really going to, it's unfortunately in Schaefer's best interest, because that's going to increase the number of service calls that are going to be charged to our program.
exactly.
But there are a lot of, situations and circumstances that can be resolved over the phone if we're just given a little bit more information from educated technicians.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I can speak to that a little. So,
Okay.
yes and no, Scott. And I spoke with that issue actually. So you can still call Schaefer and ask to speak to a technician, and they'll give you somebody usually who's in-house at the moment. Now, I know a lot of us have our favorite technicians that are most knowledgeable. If it's the hockey machine, we all want to talk about Garrett, or we want to talk to a specific technician, and that's what's not allowed, because I guess it's taking away from when a technician is in the field and maybe performing some maintenance and repairs on your machines. They don't want that tech to be interrupted. So I think it's only where we're looking for specific technicians that we want to talk to is where it's being denied.
Okay.
But I do understand, because when you want to talk to someone about an issue, you're in front of your machine. It doesn't do you a whole lot of good when you're at home and they call you 3 hours later to try to walk through that. So I definitely get it, and we can definitely talk to Schaefer about that and see if there's anything we can do. Maybe it's scheduling some sort of appointment over the phone with them so that they can put it in their day. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an idea for some time, but a lot of times it's you show up and you see a problem and you think it's a fairly minor problem that somebody could talk you through. That's usually what happens. It's
I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Maybe we can figure something out with that.
that makes me sad, because I'm one of those that always asks for Bobby when I do.
Me too. He's my go-to.
I know. I ask for my name. That's for sure. Hey, is Bobby around? I need to talk to him.
Usually he's at the warehouse.
He's the one that's there, right?
Yeah. But I know people trying to reach Norm in particular are not always able to
Right.
talk to him.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
I've done that. I've done it. When Chris Young ran service calls, I would call him. But now I would handle it when I would call Chris. I would say, hey, if you're working on somebody's machine or doing I'll wait. Can you call me back though? And some people don't understand. Hey, people, some people don't want to talk when they're driving, and I understand that too. So, but usually, if it wasn't. Anyway, it's a way to save the program a little, money on a service call, and at least try and have the conversation if it's something you think you can fix. Sometimes it's so bad, they're going to have to come anyway, so there's no point in doing that. But I just don't want to see them take that option away from us to jack up maintenance and repair more than it already is.
Yeah, we even have folks where Schaefer will, if an operator has their machine set a certain way, will fix it in their mind and make it different than the operator had it set. We've had that problem too. So I got a complaint this week about that the operator has their coin mix in, fastened in a certain way, and the tech changed it and fixed it in their mind, and and it wasn't how the operator liked it, and then it caused them problems. So it's there's a lot of issues. I think that and you're right. I think it's time to sit down and have one of our annual yeah. And I'll let you know who from our group will attend that.
We'll keep you posted as to when that's.
Okay. Okay. Yes, John.
One other thing, and I see both sides of this to some extent, but by us having to go through the consultants, even after the service tickets been put in, it's creating way too much phone tag. I've had to call Tanya 6 or 10 times this week.
So John, are you saying, is it mainly due to the fact that the technicians aren't calling you afterwards?
Well, for example, when Joe came back on Tuesday morning, I asked her when I called her and asked her if she knew when if that had been scheduled yet. And she said, well, because she was gone, nothing was out of Columbus, and it was probably going to be handled that same day. And so when I didn't hear anything from the technician that day or the next day, I called her back the afternoon after and asked her if it was taken care of. Stuff like that, for example.
I hate that, and that's not Schaefer's doing, that's ours, but and it was definitely necessary during the pandemic. I hate the notion of having to go through the consultant every time I do a service call. That's my own personal thing. I don't know if anyone's interested in maybe going back to how we used to do things. But, we know we talked in the past as a committee, if somebody abused that privilege, then they could lose it. But the vast majority of our operators, it's a good thing to be able to call our own service calls in. If you get the game of telephone, the more people it goes through, the more likely things are going to get, messed up, and not the exact thing that needs fixed is planned to be fixed. So,
Madam Chair, we'll look into it. Again, I know some areas, they've always gone through the consultant. We'll look into it, we'll take it. But again, just know that if I do hear that there's a problem with an operator and Schaefer and professionalism, and I'm with you in that, we're gonna have a conversation that they might lose that privilege.
And we get it, it's both sides.
yeah.
Sometimes Schaefer's not always the.
Yeah, it is both sides, and the committee has supported that in the past. That we've had no problem if an operator wasn't doing what they were supposed to, or calling in a service call every other day for minor, little tiny things that could be a problem, and everything. But yeah, I would love it if.
And I think it needs to be one way or the other, because there was an example, John, I think it was yours, that Bill called in a service call at 7:43, and then you called in the same service call at 10:43. So then there's is there 2 tickets out there? Is there 1 ticket out there? So we do have to figure it out. So,
And Madam Chair,
Yes, Amy.
this also may be a thing where we need to speak to Schaefer, because consultants don't have to call Jill or call James. We can directly input it in their system in the computer. So they get the ticket. But when an operator calls Jill, she has to manually enter that ticket. So she's the one doing it. So we may have to ask them also, because I know that she kind of sometimes doesn't have the time to manually enter everyone's tickets. So it may be a thing that's not just on our end, but on theirs too, that we will have to discuss.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but we did it before, so I We only stopped it. We're the one that initiated stopping it. Our program did. Because Schaefer, they were doing it. They were fine with it. And we stopped it because of budgetary concerns and so many machines being, unavailable and all that. We really wanted to watch what service calls were going through. So I'd be rather disappointed in Schaefer if afterwards they went back and said, well, no, we kind of like it better this way now. So,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I'm wondering, so I don't even have access to the ticketing system. But so if someone calls me and I need to put in a ticket, there is an email address where I can just put that in and it goes into the ticketing system. So I'm wondering if they would be willing to let operators do it that way versus always calling Jill, for
Yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah, it creates a ticket that way, and that way it's not bombarding her with phone calls, but it still gets in the system. So we'll ask if that's a possibility.
Okay.
I try multiple times. I just use these.
What's Schaefer scared of you, Sally? They won't let you. They let all the consultants in, but you can't get in.
Vicki, Christy, and I have never been able to get in. Like I can get in the first time, and then it won't let me in ever again. And they reset it and reset it.
Wonder what.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But it'll work right there in front of them. It just won't ever work again.
Oh, it's like the car said it twice. You said the second time it doesn't work.
Oh, that's funny. I don't.
It's dumb. And I think they thought I was a yahoo because I kept calling. I can't get in again. If the shoe fits.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know the feeling. That's.
And
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
the other couple things I will add is, if it's something big enough, and operators know when it's big enough, if it's something that I'm really having an issue with, and I'm like, okay, if I talk to the consultant, put in the ticket that I actually want to meet the service tech on site. If it's something I know that, they're able to go and handle and I shouldn't have to be there, then I ask or can request. Usually Schaefer was doing it by default. I don't know if they still are. I know the last time, last service call I did when I wasn't on site, that I got a phone call, and I think it was Jim who called and said, hey, your service call is completed. And told me what was wrong and he fixed it. So that's a good follow-up,
right.
so that operators know, hey, it's been taken care of. Good voicemail.
Usually they do, but
Yeah.
not all the time. Yes, John.
They typically are doing that lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've been really good about that, actually.
That's good.
I talked to Jim yesterday, and on Monday.
And probably on Friday. Yeah. Probably. Oh no, that's how it goes. The gremlins come out.
It goes in cycles, John. They don't have a service call for a while and then I'll have to break.
That is exactly how it goes. It's the funniest thing. You'll go months and everything will crank, and then it's like I don't know. It all happens at once.
And all these machines were different buildings.
Gee. All right. So I think we beat up shit. That was easier than I thought. So, well, I'm glad we're going to put a meeting together and get that done. All right. The last thing actually we had on the agenda was program growth. And that's a pretty important part. Definitely not the least for last. So I should have put it at the top. So, Frank, you want to do a
I
report?
sent an email out to everybody. Hopefully everybody got to read it or was able to read it. We had put a list together, that was our list, but I wanted the full committee to take a look at that list, and, they might, we wanted to hear the committee's feedback, if they had some different ideas on, the priority side of it. They're all important, like I said in my email, but, we didn't want to be the ultimate decider of, we wanted to give back to the full committee, and I honestly wish we had more people here today, but it didn't work out that way. So I guess I will ask if people have some feedback they would like to provide on, if we need to change some priorities around or rearrange some stuff, and we can go from there.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Scott.
Frank, can you read the list just for those that don't have it in front of them?
Yeah, I have to go find it. Scott, bear with me for a minute. I should have had it queued up on my.
Do you have it there, Frank? Or I could probably come up with it if,
I
I
Okay.
have it too.
yeah, I just got. I must have never.
well, Frank's looking. I apologize to everybody. I've been kind of nibbling on things. I'm going straight to work after this and needed a time to eat before I went to work. So,
Sorry, guys.
I think so. If you can't find it, Frank, we got,
Oh,
okay, you found it. Okay.
the list. I'm on the list, and this is what the work group came up with. We had meeting partners as one. Two is coin-operated laundry on university campuses. We believe they're suitable sites. I think that's something that we're going to have to look into along with the SLA, maybe try and find out if other states are doing it and how they're doing it and things like that. Three is, this one was interesting, and I don't know how we go about doing this. Develop a sales consultant to help move the BE program back into private sector opportunities and maybe even priority opportunities. But and I can explain that one a little bit. And that was the thought process behind it was to try and help provide some, I guess, talking points and speaking points, and maybe even literature, type of information. This is what we are. This is what we do to some private sector if an operator was interested in doing that. And I don't know if we have somebody on staff already that could take up something like that or do something like that. Four is, do we have any more facilities on secondary highways? And then in my notes, I said in progress since the June meeting. So it would, this had been written in early June, and I chose not to do it in the June meeting because the one meeting got canceled and rescheduled. And five is the go-getter policy. We've talked about that a few years ago, and there was some people that had some major issues with it and problems with it, so it kind of got lost in the shuffle. Mm-hmm. And six is franchising opportunities. And just some examples of that are Nikki Gakos in, I think, New Jersey has some Dunkin' Donuts coffee type. Yep. Is it post offices?
It's in his main post office, yes, yeah.
There's the Starbucks thing, which we kind of do in certain locations already. There's, and there may be more, Einstein bagels or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, it was just something and that was number 6. That was everyone that we had. And of course, my other question to the committee was, did we miss something? Did we overlook something? Is there something we need to add to this list? And
boy, that's a good list. I guess the only thing I would add is, and it might just be under the coin-operated laundry, would be or other non-traditional resources.
Yeah.
That might be under the same list. But we might have a enterprising dog groomer or something out there that we want to put under the BE canopy or other daycare. I don't know. There's all kinds of businesses that we could maybe potentially look at. Yes.
So there are people in other states that, for example, do the janitorial stuff that Goodwill does in Ohio.
Yes.
For facilities as well, just as an example of that.
Yeah, and I actually let that go by the wayside because I meant to talk to, I know Kevin Worley in Colorado did a lot with that. And I had meant to contact Kevin and ask him about that. And I will do that. That had slipped my mind. But yeah, that's a definitely a good option because in some states they do. The BE program oversees the janitorial services at the rest stops. So those are great things. Any thoughts on the list or?
Madam Chair?
Yes,
I
John.
think that the first one is important because we do have, cafeterias where people are kind of potentially scared to run them because they don't have the experience and it's becoming difficult. And, if we don't use them, we're going to potentially lose them or may have to downsize them and we don't necessarily need to as much. So I think that's something we definitely should look at a little bit.
Several years ago, we actually did pass a motion to look into teaming partner circumstances, and then it just kind of fell like a lead balloon, and never got picked back up. So I think we should. I mean,
It could be implemented on vending too, depending on the size of the operation. When I think it was 2016 or 17 when we were offered all the food service in Kent State and had to waive it because we didn't have a teaming partner available. And, I think it was going to be vending, open food. It was going to be all of it, but we had short notice and we didn't have a choice. So, but I don't ever want anything like that to happen to us again. If we have to waive it, we want it to be because it's something we look at and go, no, we want to waive it, not, it's a situation where we're stuck.
Yeah. Now, one thing we have to keep in mind as we look at this, just to throw it out there, and we talked about it at the last meeting, it can't be a teaming partner on state property. It still can be. If there's anything to do with federal property, the program can't subcontract with that. So that's just one thing we'll have to keep in mind. An operator can. An operator absolutely can work with a teaming partner and this and that, but the program wouldn't be able to on federal property, only on federal. To subcontract, right? And the worry is that at some point they're going to come out with something along the similar lines with state, but we crossed that bridge when we came to it. But obviously anything private sector or county or, anything wouldn't be involved in any of that either. So I think it's important to start really looking at meeting with some of these companies that offer that services and just kind of develop a partnership with them. It wouldn't be a contract till we actually had something there, but that way we're not caught, unawares and have to start at square one if an opportunity came around. So, anyone's thoughts? No?
I could have one, or at least have some contacts and some, I don't know how many are available, but have one or two, because, sometimes you run into one company can do something a certain way and another one can't, and you want to find the best match. But, and that would put us, one of the things I had said in my email was, at least our thought was to only tackle two items at a time so the stuff doesn't get lost in the shuffle. So that would mean we'd be working on the work group. We have a work group and look at the secondary highway thing and see what is feasible there or what isn't, or if it's a good idea or a bad idea. And then we would be doing the research for the teaming partner. So that would be 2 items. It doesn't stop us if something else comes down the pipe that we're interested in or able to do. I'm not saying we shouldn't deal with that and make that happen, but I'm just saying so that we don't tie up everything. You can't do everything all at once.
No, you can't. No, you're right. The secondary highway is definite. We're going to definitely tackle that one. The teaming partner thing is a good thing because we can at least start talking to some of these companies that do it and either move forward with deciding if we're going to work with them or rule it out, one or the other, and be able to cross it off the list. So,
And Madam Chair, the
Yeah.
other thing I will add, just so I say it so that it's said, it's in the email, is that none of these replace our current top priority of going after the beverages at university.
absolutely. Yes. So, if we want to pursue looking at a teaming partner, we may want to make it official and
So-
make an motion. Christy?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm curious to know, so I did do research on teaming partners a couple years ago. I did call the teaming partners that work with Troop Diamond,
Mm-hmm.
the Blackstones, and they go into multi-million-dollar contracts like the Troop Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the committee, the growth committee, needs to kind of mock something up. Like, what does this look like to talk to companies? Because and to come up with examples, like if a cafeteria opportunity comes up, is it calling Airmark or
Cintas.
Yeah, Cintas. And again, what's the profit margin? How does that look like? How would that work? Because cafeterias on a whole, including ours, even, I'm thinking of the DSCC one that we run right now, or we normally run, that has 750,000 in sales, but the profit is like 18%. Now, I understand that that's how that one operator operates and how people operate, things are different, but we need to be able to see how does that work out? And it is, when you're dealing with businesses that it's less than, $1 million, I don't know how that works out. The other thing that, again, and maybe I don't know all of the ins and outs. You guys are the ones, and I think that I'm just saying that the program growth committee needs to look at this stuff. The other thing that we've dealt with some of the colleges and universities that don't necessarily have a full-fledged cafeteria contract for their students that have some sort of open food, they've all said to us that they're loss leaders, that's why they have to have the vending, that they don't make money. So then to say, okay, well, we want to go in there and we want a teaming partner, we've got to market it where it's beneficial for the teaming partner and for our operator. And I just, again, the devil's in the details, and I think that the other thing that I think that you guys mentioned, and I'm willing to ask other states, is about the coin operating laundry and that stuff. I can reach out, but I think we need to reach out to other states. I don't know of other states that are doing teaming partners, and if you know of one, I'd love to reach out to them, other than the multi-million-dollar troop dining contracts.
I'll be honest with you, those are the only ones I know of too, the troop dining thing, but we can find out if it's happening anywhere else. And we are kind of thinking of the big picture, like the entire universities. Some of these smaller commuter campuses, you're right, their food service probably doesn't make much. That probably wouldn't be something we'd be interested in, that they say they need the vending to adequately supplement the food service. But, the example that Frank gave of Kent State, which is kind of we have the vending now, we have what we like there. But a place like that, they come out and say, we want someone to do our whole entire operation. Well, we're not in any position to do that as a program on our own. We'd never get the operators to do it, and I just don't know that anyone would want to, and I don't know that we'd be prepared to. But if we could do something, like that, and have the teaming partner do the open food and us do the vending, and maybe we get a percentage of it, whether it be the assigned operator, whether it be the program, I don't know. Get something from that, it'd be a good thing.
Madam Chair.
Yes, John.
So didn't we do that at the State House a few years ago? And if we did, how did that end up working out?
We did do it at the State House. Yes. Brian did have a teaming partner at the State House for a long period of time, and then he ended up taking it over himself. So we did have a place that did that without it being thanks for bringing that up, John, because that's absolutely true.
So Madam Chair, that place was not a multi-million-dollar facility, I'm assuming. Correct?
No, nothing like troop dining would be, that's for sure.
So, I mean, how do you do that? Is there companies that do it for that small, or how does that work?
As I say, it doesn't necessarily need to be a huge operation. You know, it could be a local company or the companies that Christy and Sally mentioned. It doesn't need to be the big Blackstones and was the
And I don't know who it was that did Lenny's back in several years ago.
Yeah.
Was it Blackstone? I forget the name of it.
Southern
Yeah.
Southern something or another. I don't remember who Brian's was. I bet Karen would. I could ask Karen and see if she would remember.
It'd be helpful to find out that information and see if they still do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember who did that, but yeah, Karen probably would, because she was instrumental in that, and maybe you guys can even find paperwork on it somewhere. I don't know.
Late 1990s, I believe.
Yeah.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
There's also FUDA, which we used at the roads for a while, and, you know, it wasn't there long enough for us to really set up something where the program we didn't have an operator who's really in there yet, but that might be something to look into too, if they would be willing to share the profits.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I actually did look into them, and they wanted to give you like 3% or something to take this number of net.
Yeah. I think there's all kinds of opportunities for some things in our vending. That's not really a teaming partner per se, but in some of our vending office buildings, I do know of states where operators partner with companies like Chick-fil-A or Pizza Hut or something like that to provide lunches, one day a week, like every Wednesday's Chick-fil-A day or something, and they order 200 Chick-fil-A sandwiches and then the operator sells them or something. I've known of places like that. I don't know if any of our operators in Ohio do anything like that. We had one at one point was going to do something with honey baked ham here in Ohio, but it kind of fell through. Those type of things on a smaller scale, that'd be an individual operator's something to look at for their individual facility, not a program-wide growth type thing, but I know those things are out there too.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Scott.
Frank, with your work, did they establish any possible timeline for these different case scenarios? We're running into so many questions about teaming partners. Would it be in our best interest right now to possibly pursue maybe going operating laundries, because that would be something that we could possibly implement on a more short-term basis.
And that's why we're having this discussion.
Yeah, if there's something better to look at and prioritize at the moment. Yeah.
If we think that's a better use of our time and resources, then.
Well, I mean, that was just a question I had.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
We could start looking at we probably should have already. I know the laundry service has come up over and over, and I don't know if we've ever made a real good effort at seeing what's actually out there.
So, Madam Chair.
Yeah. Yes.
You guys have said that there are other states that already have that implemented in their program.
Yes.
So that might really be a good opportunity to reach out to those other states, communicate with them, find out, the pitfalls and advantages to it. And maybe that would be something that we could pursue on a more near basis or near timeline, I guess is what I'm thinking.
Christy, why don't you, if you would, reach out on your side, and I can reach out on folks I know on the operator side and see where exactly this is happening. I know it is happening. I know a couple operators that do it vaguely, but if you could reach out on your list and see if other states are doing that, the coin-operated laundry. That'd be great.
And Madam Chair,
Yes, Scott.
there would be no priority with such an endeavor, correct? I mean, we don't have a priority. So
It's vending.
It's vending. I was going to say, I think that would probably end up in front of some kind of panel somewhere at some point, but because I think we could argue that it is vending. It's coin operated service. So I would take the stand that we do have priority. But I'm sure, especially at a university level where site suitability is joint and all this and that somebody could try and argue that it isn't. So,
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I'll reach out. We did look into this for Hopkins College a couple of years ago. And again, the devil's in the details. We'll have to get the numbers. But what was problematic with this is the cost of renting and maintenance of the machine
bless you.
it's expensive. And again, Schaefer was not, they couldn't fix those machines. But I want to say, and I'll have to look. I want to say it was like $800 or $900 like a month or something ridiculous
For one machine.
for one machine to rent.
Madam Chair,
Then buy them. Yeah, but,
that was gonna be my.
oh, okay.
What would it be, do we have any idea of what it would cost to buy these machines like we did the vending machines that are coin operated?
Right, I'll have to look into it. And we did a couple years ago, but let me go back. They're on state term contract too. And again, you know, I'll work with my recording manager to put together.
Yeah, she may end up being our sales manager. So.
Put together, you know, ROI on like renting versus purchasing, the maintenance contracts associated with them, and what that looks like. You know, again, college students, they're not, you know, you guys know from vending too, they're not light on equipment. The other thing is, you know, I don't know. We don't know what the profit, all of that. I mean, we talked, you know, if you have $5, you do your laundry, or do you go to the bar and wait for the laundry to bring home from mom to do laundry?
Well, it's probably a card thing, Christie. But I'm not gonna say,
Yeah,
most of them are doing it on mom and dad's dime, so they
yeah,
can't care.
that's true too.
Yeah, they swipe the card. Or when I was in college, I bought wine coolers and went to laundromat and said, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The cards,
Well, yeah, of course.
the IDs, the credit cards, again, we were all, I think, we were talking, you brought rolls of quarters, which I don't think is probably what they do anymore, but.
I probably ran into Christy there and didn't know it. She was probably at the laundromat with me because we were at Bowling Green at the same time. Yes, John.
So I really think we should pursue the coin thing, and I also think we should at the same time pursue at least one long-term thing such as the gaming, so that we're not just looking at short-term model, but we're also looking at the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can. I think there's no reason we can't inquire about both of those. We're doing I get Frank's.
Got these research.
Yeah, we can do the research on them and then see which one we really need to pursue. So, someone want to make a motion to do anything?
Do we need to do the motion?
It'd be nice because then there can be a response. And
So I guess I want to make a motion to, for us to start pursuing, working with universities to take over the coin laundry machines. And I also want to make a motion that also to look into teaming partners.
okay,
I will second.
okay. Any more discussion? All right. The vote on that, John,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Frank,
Yeah.
and I say yes. So, passes.
But we have to do the research before that.
Well, yeah, and that's all the motion was, just to look into it and go forward. So,
Madam Chair,
yes,
Too late, Amy, we already voted on.
They could reject it.
I just want to read it back. I have an ear infection. And
Oh,
I can't hear that well. Request to start researching. Oh, jeez. Researching to pursue coin-operated laundry and research teaming partners. Does that kind of sum everything out?
I said it's universities, but for the coin operated.
University.
yeah.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Anything else on program growth? All right. Did anyone have anything else that we need to attend to before we're probably going to pass a motion to move into executive session at some point here? But before we do that, is there anything else? Okay. We'll take a break before the executive session begins. But
Madam Chair,
yes.
can you get an update from DSCC on the contract negotiation? Has there been anything?
Madam Chair, there's been nothing. I can work with Matthew again and ask him to reach out again. Again, I can't believe that there's been no movement on that whole entire lawsuit. But the last that they said last summer to Rick Chance at the time was that they're not pursuing that. And so that lawsuit is decided. We get separate, but I don't know enough to,
Right.
you know, I'll follow, spend a couple, we'll follow up again.
Okay. Anything else that Frank, are you still there?
Yeah, you will.
Oh. All right. Well, now we got to wait to make our motion to go into executive session. We will do that after when we officially.
So if you guys want to do an executive session and three of us are going to get recused, do we need to come back after that, or can someone here, I don't know.
I'll make a note and get with Amy to.
Find out when it adjourns.
Yeah. Yes.
You can type, just text us.
That way Amy's not sitting in the hall waiting and
Thanks.
and all of that. So
Is that, that's okay with Roberts, and are we okay with that, or?
I
I mean, I would rather we come back on the record fully.
Okay, so you want us to go out with,
Yeah, I'd rather you guys wait. It shouldn't be that long.
Okay, not a problem.
It should only be, I think over 10 minutes.
Okay, not a problem.
okay. Well, as soon as Frank comes back, we'll do a motion for.
I'll go down to Jim's place and get a donut and a coffee.
Yeah, you will. So, everyone's still there on the phone? Everyone's, we're gonna be breaking soon, it looks like. Anyone who's listening.
We've got 6 people listening.
Okay,
Plus, John has been streaming on Facebook, and there's been some people in and out of there as well.
oh, okay, cool.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
and this doesn't have to be on the record, it's no big deal. Just wanted to follow up. Ham and cheese, chicken Caesar wrap, and beef veggie pita, and I'll find out what goes.
okay. Well, I want a chicken Caesar wrap, so put that,
There's a couple of minutes.
I'm not sure what I want, so send one of each to my house.
send one to, Tom wants one sent to his house, so
You have it coming.
y'all deliver.
We can reserve at least one extra.
We should just do a big Uber Eats order and get something.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. All right, Frank's back. So we need to, I need to entertain a motion to move into executive session.
We'll make the motion and we go into executive session. So it has to be a little bit more.
Oh, to discuss pending litigation.
Discuss pending litigation.
Okay, could do for the vote, Frank,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
and I vote yes, so. On the phone line, so we are back in open session. Did anybody have anything else to, bring up?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Scott?
do we need to establish a sergeant of arms?
The sergeant at arms by rules is the vice chair, so.
Okay.
Yeah, by our bylaws, I said by rules, but by our bylaws, it's the vice chair is part of their duties.
Okay, I've never seen that before.
Oh, I'll trying to, I don't know if our, unofficial parliamentarian still is listening on the phone there, but Derek, if you have, can you send, me a copy of the bylaws, email them to me? I know you most likely to have them. If I do, they're deep in my computer somewhere, and I don't know if I have them ready access to them.
I have, look, my email got hacked back in April.
Yeah, I know, and I have an old computer and stuff may be on it, but I'm solely on my iPad now, and I know I don't have a copy of them on my iPad, so. The Bureau, you guys may have a copy of them too somewhere.
Madam Chair, we do, but I can send them on Monday.
Okay, that's great. Nothing urgent. We did, yeah, people should see them. Okay, anything else? Okay, then I guess we can adjourn. So. Motion to adjourn, okay. Motion, yeah, Ethan wants us to be all official about it. So someone move to adjourn? Okay. Second, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
No, I'm not in favor.